Hey everybody, this is TEDx Talk Analysis on Mind Stretch with Fletch. Today we're going to be going through a talk from 2014 by a technologist called Jeremy Howard about deep learning and the future of jobs. Everybody has to do something in order to eat and have a place to lay their heads. For a long time, humans spent most of their days doing only that, just like a lot of other beings. But at some point, they figured out how to grow and store food, enslave certain animals, and learned to build themselves their own spaces that cut them off from the wild to keep them safe. Once they did this, they had time to do other things besides just trying to survive every day, like playing around, creating new technologies, and even philosophizing. This extra time allowed some people to get better at some things and others at other things, creating a division of labor. Some skills are more valuable than others to the rest of everybody, so some people have more status and stuff than others, but that's just how it works. Then over the generations, people got better and better at things, streamlining the means of production and the exchange of goods and services. In the 1700s, there was a major breakthrough called the Industrial Revolution. This is when humans started working with mechanical machines to make their stuff. It was a game changer. This went on for a while, automating the process of weaving clothes, cotton mills, and harnessing the power of steam. Eventually, humans figured out about coal and oil, which broke the level of production wide open. This cheap and powerful energy allowed all kinds of inventions like engines, the automobile, which finally freed most of the horses and mules, new kinds of home heating and lighting, distributed electricity, and eventually got them off the planet and into space. Somewhere in the middle of all this, something a league of their own was invented. Electronic computer. Oh man. This thing changed and is changing everything as we know it. And up till recently, everything it could do had to be programmed by a human. But something fairly new called deep learning has changed the game again. And this is where the story meets up on the TEDx talk with Jeremy Howard.
In 1956, he wanted to get this computer to be able to beat him at checkers. How can you write a program, lay out in excruciating detail how to be better than you at checkers? So he came up with an idea. He had the computer play against itself thousands of times and learn how to play checkers. And indeed it worked. And in fact, by 1962, this computer had beaten the Connecticut state champion. So Arthur Samuel was the father of machine learning, and I have a great debt to him because I am a machine learning practitioner. So from this vantage point, I was able to find out a lot about what machine learning can do in the past, can do today, and what it could do in the future. Perhaps the first big success of machine learning commercially was Google. Google showed that it is possible to find information by using a computer algorithm, and this algorithm is based on machine learning. Since that time, there has been many commercial successes of machine learning. Companies like Amazon and Netflix use machine learning to suggest products that you might like to buy, movies that you might like to watch. Sometimes it's almost creepy. Companies like LinkedIn and Facebook sometimes will tell you about who your friends might be, and you have no idea how it did it. And this is because it's using the power of machine learning. These are algorithms that have learned how to do this from data rather than being programmed by hand.
Now just let that sink in there for a second. I know this idea is getting to be old hat, but them sites is using information that you're feeding it with to figure things out on its own, just like humans do.
Deep learning is an algorithm inspired by how the human brain works. And as a result, it's an algorithm which has no theoretical limitations on what it can do. The more data you give it and the more computation time you give it, the better it gets. Since that time, a lot has happened. In 2012, Google announced that they had a deep learning algorithm watch YouTube videos and crunch the data on 16,000 computers for a month. And the computer independently learned about concepts such as people and cats just by watching the videos. This is much like the way that humans learn. Humans don't learn by being told what they see, but by learning for themselves what these things are.
Like when you watch a little kid or a baby just figuring something out, no matter how many times you tell them something, they will just touch that hot stove, fall down the stairs, or forget what something is till they learn and remember it on their own. And that's how it works for all of us, no matter how old we get. We just get better at it with experience.
Google announced last year that they had mapped every single location in France in 2 hours. And the way they did it was that they fed street view images into a deep learning algorithm to recognize and read street numbers. Imagine how long it would have taken before. Dozens of people, many years. So what does it mean now that computers can see? Well, it's not just that computers can see. In fact, deep learning has done more than that. Complex, nuanced sentences like this one are now understandable with deep learning algorithms. As you can see here, this Stanford-based system, showing the red dot at the top, has figured out that this sentence is expressing negative sentiment. Deep learning now, in fact, is near human performance at understanding what sentences are about and what it is saying about those things. Also, deep learning has been used to read Chinese, again, at about native Chinese speaker level. This algorithm developed out of Switzerland by people, none of whom speak or understand any Chinese. As I say, using deep learning is about the best system in the world for this, even compared to native human understanding. So we can see now that computers can not only see, but they can also read. And of course, we've shown that they can understand what they hear. Perhaps not surprising now that I'm going to tell you they can write. And here is some text that an algorithm out of Stanford generated. Each of these sentences was generated by a deep learning algorithm to describe each of those pictures. This algorithm before has never seen a man in a black shirt playing a guitar. It's seen a man before, it's seen black before, it's seen a guitar before, but it has independently generated this novel description of this picture. We're still not quite at human performance here, but we're close. In tests, humans prefer the computer-generated caption 1 out of 4 times. This system is now only 2 weeks old, so probably within the next year, the computer algorithm will be well past human performance at the rate things are going. So computers can also write. So I'm very excited about the opportunities. I'm also concerned about the problems. The problem here is that every area in blue on this map is somewhere where services are over 80% of employment. What are services? These are services. These are also the exact things that computers have just learned how to do. So, 80% of the world's employment in the developed world is stuff that computers have just learned how to do. What does that mean? Well, it'll be fine. It'll be replaced by other jobs. For example, there'll be more jobs for data scientists. Well, not really. It doesn't take data scientists very long to build these things. For example, these 4 algorithms were all built by the same guy. So if you think, oh, it's all happened before, you know, we've seen the results in the past of when new things come along and they get replaced by new jobs, what are these new jobs going to be? It's very hard for us to estimate this because human performance grows at this gradual rate. But we now have a system, deep learning, that we know actually grows in capability exponentially. And we're here. So currently, we see the things around us and we say, oh, computers are still pretty dumb. Right? But in 5 years' time, computers will be off this chart. So we need to be starting to think about this capability right now.
Now, just look at those faces. I've done watched me a bunch of TEDx talks and I ain't never seen concern like that throughout the room. They more nervous than a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs because they are realizing what's coming. Up till this moment, most of them had thought that there'll always be some people are better at than computers. But they in a different place than ever before. Now he's going to talk about what I mentioned at the beginning of this video about other leaps of technological advancements from history, and how this time, it's just different.
We have seen this once before, of course. In the Industrial Revolution, we saw a step change in capability thanks to engines. The thing is, though, that after a while, things flattened out. There was social disruption, but once engines were used to generate power in all the situations, things really settled down. The machine learning revolution is going to be very different to the Industrial Revolution, because the machine learning revolution, it never settles down. The better computers get at intellectual activities, the more they can build better computers to be better at intellectual capabilities. So this is going to be a kind of change that the world has actually never experienced before. So your previous understanding of what's possible is different. This is already impacting us. In the last 25 years, as capital productivity has increased, labor productivity has been flat, in fact, even a little bit down. So I want us to start having this discussion now. I know that when I often tell people about this situation, people can be quite dismissive. Well, computers can't really think, they don't emote, they don't understand poetry, we don't really understand how they work. So what? Computers right now can do the things that humans spend most of their time being paid to do. So now's the time to start thinking about how we're going to adjust our social structures and our economic structures to be aware of this new reality. Thank you.
So did your mind stretch from that talk? I sure hope so. Because this impacts everybody. If you're looking to have a use on planet Earth in the near future, you better think about what you know how to do and whether a computer is going to be better at it than you very soon. Of course, there's lots more to this that I can't cover real quick like, but hopefully this gives you something to think about. Just make sure that you're learning how to develop your skills to be used in complement, not competition with artificial intelligence, or you ain't gonna be worth a hill of beans. Alright, that's it for this video. I hope it stretched your mind at least a bit. Just remember, a mind, once stretched by a new idea, never regains its original shape. See you next time. Be sure to subscribe or follow to join in on the mind-stretching conversation. And if you thought this video was worth seeing, please like and comment below to let me know what you thought. And share it to your social media so that everyone has a chance to see it too. Thanks for tuning in, and if you're up for it, see you on down the road.